Hey, thanks for checking out my lesson on YoungBoy NBA Slime Belief. Really super cool riff here. It did take me some time to figure it out, and it's kind of hard to play, and it does require kind of a funky tuning, but I'm going to walk you through that. So go ahead and hit the subscribe and the like button, and go ahead and share this video, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is get you in tune to play this song. Like I said, it's kind of a funky tuning, and it might take you a second or two to get your guitar there, but it's totally worth it if you can get your guitar in this tuning to play this. So what you want to do is tune your low E string down to a D. Okay? Then you're going to tune your A string just to standard A. D string is standard D. Okay? G, standard G. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take your B and tune it up to a C. So that's interesting. Your B string actually goes up. You're going to tweak it up 1/2 step to a C. Don't turn it too much because you'll snap it. You know, just it's a 1/2 step, just a little turn on the string to get that up to a C. Okay, and use your tuner for reference. Hopefully you have a, hopefully you have a chromatic tuner that can catch all these notes. And then your high E is just a high E. So the only real difference from standard tuning is that your low E is dropped down to a D and your B is tuned up a 1/2 step to a C. Okay? So those are the two major differences. Then what you want to do is take your capo, and you're going to have to retune once you get this set on your 4th fret. So you're going to get this set on your 4th fret, okay? So now you're going to retune. So now you're going to pluck your low E string, and that should be registering an F sharp. And my capo pulls my F sharp really a little bit too sharp, so I'm going to tune my low E string down to an F sharp. Okay? Then the A is a C sharp now, so I'm going to just make sure that's in line. Make sure my D is now an F sharp. I'm going to make sure that's on the money. My G is a B now. Make sure that's on the money. And then I'm going to tune that B string is an E with the capo on, so I'm going to make sure that's centered. And then finally G sharp. Okay. Make sure that is right. And it's gives you kind of a funky tuning. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. You're going to want to be prepared for some finger picking. So a lot of this I use my thumb, index, and middle finger. Use a little bit of my ring finger. With your fretting hand, you're going to want to remember this shape because it's one of the main chords of the song. So your index finger is going to set here on the 2nd fret of the D, ring finger 4th fret of the G. Now if you take your thumb and you pluck the A, the D, and then use your index finger for G and middle finger for B. Okay, as you can hear, that's kind of the sound of the main chord, you could say, of the song. So what we're going to do is just that. We're going to pluck thumb on A, thumb on D, index finger on G, and then middle finger is going to pluck the B. But as middle finger plucks the B, our middle finger on our fretting hand jumps up to the 3rd fret of the A, and then our thumb's going to pluck that simultaneously. Okay, so here's what we've got. It happens quick. Okay. Okay. So that's the very first movement. So now following that little piece, we're going to bring our index finger down to the 2nd fret of the B string. So you've got, bring it down, and then you're going to pluck again with your middle finger on the B, and pull off to open B with your index finger. 2nd fret to open. So you've got a little slower. So following that little pull off, now your middle finger is going to come up here to 3rd fret of the low E, okay? And then you're going to pluck with your thumb on low E and your index finger on G. Okay, so one more time. So as you can see, this gets pretty confusing pretty quickly, but just hang with me here. So let's practice that a few times. One more. All right. So following that double pluck on the thumb on the low E, index finger on the G, you're going to use your ring finger and pluck the high E open, okay? Okay, one more. Okay, so right after you pluck that high E open, one thing to consider is that your index finger had just done that pull off, right, on the 2nd fret to open. It needs to find its way back to that 2nd fret of the D some way, somehow, okay? So I've found that when I bring my finger back, I'm kind of riding that last chord, I think, by the time I get my index finger up to that 2nd fret of the D string. So if I take a look at the riff, I've got so for that little pattern, following all that, which was pretty simple, thumb on low E, thumb on D, index finger on G, middle finger on B. Notice how my index finger found its way back, though, to that 2nd fret of the D. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. I'll do that once a little slower. So as you can see, your index finger does have to get back up to that 2nd fret of the D. So I think this part right here is the hardest part of the song. Just playing those double note chords and getting your index finger back to where it started. So that's tough. So take some time with this section. I'll play it a couple more times right now. Okay, so now let's take a look at what happens the 2nd time through the riff. So first time is what we just played. Now it's going to do something else the 2nd time. So the 2nd time it goes, okay, so that's just open E to G to open E to G, okay, and the place I'm fitting that is right after that last chord. So okay, so you'll still do one of these, but then you got to let off for 2 plucks on the low E and 2 plucks on the G, alternating like that. So here's what we've got all together. Okay, So the third time through the riff, it does the same thing as the first time, with two of those just low E, D, G, B, low E, D, G, B patterns, okay? So then the fourth time through the riff is where it does something even different than the first and the second time and the third time. So the fourth time through the riff, it goes like this. So you got to reach way up here. So that would be 5th fret from the capo, or your 9th fret on your guitar if you're looking at it. Okay, so it's that same thing alternating between the low E and the G, but you have a different bass note this time. So let's look at the whole thing. I'll play through it a couple times really slow for you. So here's what we've got. So that gets you back around into it again. So as you can see, there's a lot of different little moving pieces, moving parts. I hope I was able to go slow enough for you there. If I wasn't, use the speed slow down feature in YouTube. Slow it down to 0.75 and see if you can get some of those riffs in your ears. And then go ahead and hit the subscribe and the like button, and I will see you on the next video.